Welcome to AM Muscle Maintenance within Shape Fitness. I'm Coach Kim, and today is Friday, April the 3rd. We are wrapping up this week's Functional 5. We have been doing the same 5 exercises all week long, and today we're going to do a quick set of them and then proceed through a mashup where we combine the exercises, not all of them at one time, but combine them in different combinations to give you a maximum amount of output as you head into, your weekend. If you can even differentiate between your weekdays and your weekends right now, it's kind of hard because of this unprecedented period of time in which we're living, kind of solo. We can't go out. We really can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. But you still need to stay healthy and energetic, and you need to take good care of the inside of your body as well as the outside of your body. So this is a really great way to do that. You don't need any equipment. We're going to start with a postural systems check, so you can just stand up really tall and take a couple of deep breaths. Super important to get into the rhythm of breathing, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. And inhaling through your nose again. Think about the plumb line, the invisible line running down the side of your body, which starts at the top of your head, runs down the side of your head through your ears, and then hits the first sort of pivoting point that you want to make sure is straight is between your ears and your shoulders. Your head should be back. You don't want that sort of craned head position that is actually pretty normal these days because of the way that we sit and stare at computer screens or stare at the steering wheel or looking down at our devices or whatever. So that part is something you want to make sure you've got corrected as you begin. I can maybe talk about a little later the significance of that deviation. But going down the side of your body, you then hit your pelvis, and you want to make sure that your pelvis is straight up and down. So tuck in your tailbone a little bit if you have a tendency to stick out your butt, which if you sit all day, you do, and then go down towards your feet and let's start moving here today with just that little high school lateral shuffle to start, right? So the sort of high school dance. Step to the right, step to the left, soft knees, your feet stay straight, and you proceed through the high school shuffle to the skater hops, or the lateral shuffle into the skater hops. So you're taking a big step to the right, and then your left foot follows, but goes farther behind the right to tap the floor over to the right of the right foot. Then you use the left foot to launch over to the left. And as you go to the left, your right foot trails and then extends behind the left foot and taps down on the floor left of the left foot. And then keep going back and forth, right? This is the skater hop or lateral shuffle. We're going to keep it simple for now. Yesterday, if you joined me, we added a variation where you tap the floor as you with your hand as you moved from left to right. But let's just stay straight up. Now pause in the middle. All right, 3 times. I'm going to ask you now to squat all the way down towards the floor, hinging at your hips and your knees. Walk your hands out to a push-up position. Execute 1 push-up if you can, just 1. And then walk your hands back. Don't move your feet. Walk your hands back to your squatted position, keeping your butt down. This is really hard if you don't have good range in your glutes and if you have tightness in your hamstrings. But I want you to squeeze your glutes and stand up by pressing your heels into the floor. And again, just to complete a couple of these, you will feel your heart rate lift, start to rise in just the first couple. And that's the point here. We're just getting warmed up by going through each of the exercises individually, and then we're going to start adding them together. All right, now stand up really tall and separate your feet to about shoulder width apart. I want you to turn your toes out to about 45 degrees. Go ahead and give yourself another couple of deep breaths. And as you're thinking about your breath, you will straighten your back, pull in your belly button, and get those shoulders back again, lined up with the ears. That quick postural systems check. So now you're lowering your body into a plie squat. You inhale on the way down. You exhale on the way up. Channel your inner Misty Copeland as you bring your arms forward. You can extend your arms out to the side and then bring your arms forward into a port-de-bras, which is the ballet term for a bear hug, like invisible bear hug. Right? So then when you stand back up, you open your arms back up and out to the sides, palms face out, and you squeeze your shoulder blades at the top. Right? If the coordination of the upper body movement with the lowering down into the squat seems difficult, you can put your hands on your hips or just hold your hands out to the sides for balance. In any case, those are the plie squats. So we've got the walkout push-up, the lateral shuffle, and the plie squats. Now going down to the floor, get yourself into that pike position. All right, otherwise known as downward facing dog. I've been talking all week about how I kind of poo-poo the whole big time yoga thing, like capital Y yoga, but small y yoga, or flexibility, or bending, as I actually like to call it, just to keep it really straight and simple. Bending, being able to move your joints, move your body the way that it's intended to move, is one of the prime reasons we exercise at all, right? I mean, otherwise, at least for me, I might be just sitting around reading a book all day, or maybe writing. But we do need to move, and the best way to move is to not be in pain is to move. And when you move all of the different body parts and make sure that you can move them the way that they're intended, then you have range of motion or flexibility. So you're in this pike position, otherwise known as downward facing dog. What we've been doing in this position all week is a squat. And that means you're bending your bending your knees. You don't bend your elbows. You bend your knees, and thus your body lowers towards the floor into like a crouching position, right? So once you get lower to the floor, you will feel your tummy muscles contract. And that is actually one of the main reasons we do this exercise. So when you straighten your legs back out, you get that flexibility component. You'll feel the tug on the hamstrings and your glutes a little bit, but you bend your knees, straighten your legs, bend your knees, straighten your legs. Your heart rate lifts because you're interacting with gravity, and your tummy muscles contract because you're lowering into the plank position or partial plank position, and then you get that flexibility work as well. You're doing great. Okay, last exercise, and then we're going to start mixing it up. I want you to turn to your back, and you put your hands beside your body on the floor, and then lift your feet into the air. Now, you make a 90-degree angle with both your hips and your knees. So your feet are separated. They're about shoulder width apart. Don't squeeze them together. And then your knees and your hips should make a straight up and down line. And then your lower leg, your ankles, between your ankles and your knees, should be a horizontal line. Right? So you've got one vertical line, one horizontal line, 2 90-degree angles. And even if you don't like math, it's a pretty simple concept. So go ahead and think about pulling in on your belly button. And then just think about the stability that you need through the bottom part of your pelvis, your hip flexors, those muscles that line the front of the top of your leg, and then reach in and back towards your lower back, connecting at your spine, right? This is one of the reasons why our sedentary existence manifests in back issues and lower back pain because they're connected. So you're going to stabilize one leg. Your right leg is not going to move. Your left foot is going to touch the floor and then lift back to your starting position. But you don't bend your knee. You bend at the hip. All right, so hip bend, toe taps. Lift the foot back up. And then continue tapping and lifting and tapping and lifting. And then switch. Now the left foot stays stable. Systems check that position, right? Your position check. And then your right foot moves, touches the floor, lifts back up. But again, don't bend the knee. Only the hip is in action. And your tummy muscles could feel a little tug, the lower part of your abdominal muscles. You will also feel this in your hip because you're contracting your hip flexor and then lengthening it back out, or lengthening it back out and then contracting it. And then you will also feel maybe a little heat in the top part of your quadricep. Now alternate. One leg, then the other. Being careful to control your movement in both directions because you don't want momentum to start, helping you, if you will. And if you think this is pretty easy, you can also pretend someone's lifting you up through the sternum by lifting yourself up into like Pilates 100 or the sort of slow motion and pause at the top crunch position. Look at your ceiling when you do this. You don't want to bend your neck, but you can lift up, and that forces the entire front of your trunk to engage as well. Okay, now we're going to start moving around a little bit more. What I want you to do now is to stand up on your feet. All right? I want you to take a step to the right, a lateral shuffle to the right, a lateral shuffle to the left, and then bring your body back to your center point, squat all the way down, walk out to push-up position, execute one push-up, but then go right into downward facing dog. From here, I want you to lower the knees and then straighten your legs back up. Back to downward dog, then lower your butt back to push-up position, and then walk your hands back to your squatted position. Then turn your body around and lower your body down onto your back into your toe tap position. All right. So now I'm just sort of thinking that you're on a mat, and if you were on if you're on a big floor, you don't necessarily need to turn around, but you're going from the squatted position in the middle of the walkout push-up to your lying down position with your feet in the air. Now alternate your toe taps. Very good. And then you can squeeze your knees into a little bit of a hug if you like, and then turn your body back over, or if you're strong enough to sit all the way up and stand up. We call this a rising corpse. If you're able to do that, that's awesome, but get yourself back up on your feet. Orient your feet into a double shoulder width position and lower down and lift up and lower down and lift up. Now from here, bring your feet together, but go to the right, lateral shuffle. Go to the left, lateral shuffle. Let's go a couple more of these, guys. Go to the right, lateral shuffle to the left. End up back into that double shoulder width position. Let's go back to the plie squat for a couple seconds here. Make sure your arms extend out wide. Let's try a couple of port de bras. Lower down. Make sure your feet turned out 45 degrees. Channel your inner Copeland, or maybe Maria Talchi, or channel your inner Baryshnikov, whatever it is. But gracefully lower the body down and lift up, and bring the arms forward as you do into the port de bras, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together as you lift back up. Okay, bring your feet back together. Squat all the way down. Walk out to push-up position. Execute 2 push-ups. 2 push-ups. Bend your elbows. Inhale all the way down. Big deep breath. Push the air out as you push back up. Exhale through your mouth. And then lower back down. Push back up. Excellent. All right. Now, lift your butt up in the air. Back to downward facing dog. Straighten out those hamstrings. And then bend your knees and straighten your legs. Bend your knees, straighten your legs. Bend your knees. This time, let's add a little bit of jumping jacks at the bottom. We did these yesterday. So in the downward dog squat, so you are crouched down, tummy muscles engaged, hands on the floor. Now jump your feet out, jump your feet in. Jump your feet out, jump your feet back in. Jump your feet back out, jump your feet back in. Now, lower your knees all the way down into what would be a child's pose. Take a couple seconds there, deep breath maybe, and then turn your body over back to your toe taps. Position systems check. Make sure your legs are straight in the right start position. Your knees are in the air. Your feet are in the air, 2 90-degree angles. Just the left foot moves now. Your left foot's going to tap down and then lift back up. Tap the foot, lift back up. Hinge at your hip. Keep your pelvis, your tummy muscles engaged by pulling your belly button in. Switch to the right foot now. Now alternate. Start slow. Take a deep breath. Go a little bit faster. And a little bit faster. Lift that chest. Lift your through your sternum. Lift up. Stare at your ceiling. Engage your tummy muscles. This is the last time you'll probably be on the floor in toe tap position. All right. Great. Now turn your body over and lift yourself back up into downward facing dog. Stretch out those hamstrings. Now bend your knees and straighten your legs. And bend your knees and straighten your legs. Bend your knees again. Stay there. One more time. Last time, let's do those jumping jacks again. Right? So your knees are bent. Your butt is down on the floor. Your knees aren't touching the floor, but you are low. And now you're going to jump your feet out and jump your feet in. And jump your feet out and jump your feet back in. Now straighten back to your downward facing dog to give your hamstrings a decent and deep breath oriented stretch. All right. You get the quads in there to stretch as well. Your glutes to stretch as well. Your quads aren't really stretching out all that much. But your hamstrings are the focus here. So you want to straighten out those hamstrings. Seated people, sedentary people, and we are all sedentary now, boy. At least in New York, where I am, we are not moving around a ton, right? So now go ahead and bend the knees again. Last time, and the reason you're bending your knees now is so that you can go back to your squatted position so that you can walk your hands back towards your feet and then stand all the way back up. Let's finish with just a little more skater hops and one more set of plie squats. All right, so skater hop to the right. And then to the left. We'll be finished here in about a minute. Skater hop to the right, and then to the left, and then to the right again, and then to the left. And if you can touch with the hand as you skater hop to the right. Remember, your left hand touches the floor. Skater hop to the left, your left hand touches the floor. One more time to the right, and last time to the left. Now, orient your feet double shoulder width apart with your toes turned out, arms out to the sides, down and up, just 3 or 4 more times. Inhale on your way down. Exhale as you lift back up. Keep your back straight. Remember that postural systems check. In fact, it's something to take with you through the rest of your day. As you finish the last one, you stand all the way up. Take a couple of deep breaths. Finish with the postural systems check so that you are ready to proceed through the rest of your day. And the rest of your day hopefully means that you're going to do less working as you head into the weekend and more maybe getting outside on your own, of course, social distancing, making sure if you go out, especially if you are in a hot zone like New York. But I think the CDC came out with news yesterday that warning that if you are out and about, wear a mask over your face. Just do it. Just do it. If you're, obviously you can't and you shouldn't be wearing surgical masks, those high-tech things that are really, really needed for our first responders. So make something for yourself, a bandana, a muff. I've got, runners' muffs that are really thin. They're not for super, super cold weather, but they're really good for this type of thing. And to protect other people around you. Doesn't matter whether you're healthy or you're not healthy. It just is good practice right now. So this is a crazy time. I'm going to be back next week with 5 new exercises, and we'll start a whole new week of Functional 5. And in the meantime, let me know if you have questions. You can reach me at bodybyInshape.com. And have a great rest of the day. Be safe and be smart. Try to stay sane and definitely take good care of yourself.